Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video today we're going to be river pike fishing. Now over the course of this season so far, it's only mid-November. I've only done one session on the river for pike and I had one fish. I have been prioritising lakes, gravel pits, you know, generally just still waters. And where I am today, I'm on a stretch very local to my house. It is day ticket. And it has a sort of reputation and history of being a good stretch for pike. Now, from what I've heard and from what I've seen, it is full of pike, but there are also some bigger fish. So hopefully I can get a bit of a mix today, have a couple of fish and maybe a big one in between. So I've decided to opt for my two favourite baits today. I know a lot of people use smelt, roach, mackerel, lamprey, etc, etc. The list goes on, you know. I feel like every person has their own opinion, and if it works for them, it works for them. My two favourite baits, and the baits that I, generally speaking, when I go to a fishery, either one that I've fished before or a new fishery more so, I will always use, if I'm using two rods, on one rod I'll have a mackerel, one rod I'll have a section of lamprey. And that is always, they are always my go-to baits. I have tried smelt and I have caught fish on smelt, but my personal preference is I've had the most fish on mackerel and especially lamprey. So they are my two baits of choice. Quite a nice section of lamprey actually. Quite thick and juicy. Bit of a go with the lure. That's exactly what I'm going to do. This peg I've just stumbled across looks very good for a bite. And it looks like someone's been pike fishing because there's a dead bait in the edge. Whether it's too cold for them to be want to be chasing lures, I'm not 100% sure, but it's worth a go. That'll sink a bit. And I must say, just here, it does look very ideal for a bite. I mean, there's a tree to the right hand side, a big tree to the left. I would assume is probably very snaggy. Looks prime for a take or two. There we go. So I do believe no follows, so we're going to go and try another peg. There's no point spending too much time in one peg if you're not getting any follows. So I'll see you over there. It's quite a big peg. Plenty of room. So I'm just going to have a couple of casts. Maybe just stand in the water slightly. It's quite shallow. I don't want to be bringing the fish right up here, so just give it a cast down there. Right, with the lure that I use, it's quite a good lure and generally gets a few follows if there's pike in the area. So by having it chuck around with a lure, especially one like this, it's always a good indication as to whether there are some pike in the area. Further cast. No, I think he's got it. Right, we're gonna give it a go. Yes, he's on. Yes. There we go. Doesn't look too bad of a fish, actually. Gonna get down here with it. Just don't want him going into that other line. Oh, he's only just hooked. Easy does it. Not a massive fish, but a nice fish. I've just slipped over, but that's all right. And he's in. Lovely. Right, get him unhooked and probably get a weight on him because he's quite a chunky fish. There we go, pike. And it's actually quite a big fish. Well, after hours and hours of absolutely nothing, the rod had been out 5 minutes and it was away. And I must admit, I wasn't expecting it to be a fish this big. Oh, here we go. 14.2 it weighed. Quite a bit of a stomach to it. They're definitely starting to put on spawn. What a lovely fish. More than I could have asked for today. Beautiful. Let's get her back. So I've had her resting in the water for quite a while now. I'm going to let her go. She's been showing signs of kicking. So just get her head out the sling. And there she goes. Off to be caught another day when hopefully she's a bit bigger. Beautiful. So here we go. Come down, the river's up, and I've got to take pretty quick. Wasn't expecting one this quick. I'll be honest, I haven't even got the second rod sorted out yet. But here we go. Yeah, it's definitely a fish on that. Oh, he spit it. Oh well. So just had a look at the left rod, and I'm not 100% sure if it's the current or if it's a fish, but I believe it's a fish. The float's plummeted under. Pick the rod up. Let me give it time, I'm not going to strike it yet. I'm going to give it time to take. With it being cold, I don't want to strike too early, because the fish may not have it in its mouth properly. So I'll give it some time. 10. Make sure the clutch is tight. Yeah, he's on. He's on. Did give it time to take because it, with it being cold. Oh wow, it's quite a big fish. Here he comes. Oh no, maybe he's not as big as I first thought. Big mouth on him though. There we go, that's pike in the net. Quite a nice fish actually, it's a double. For, if you can, 14.8. Lovely. Well, after a short battle and worries that it may come off, as I do with most pike, slipped it into the net. Wasn't actually aware of how big it was until I got it up on the scales, but really long fish, starting to get a bit of a stomach on it. I'll hold her up for the camera. Here she is. 14.8 she went. Still quite a skinny fish, not too much of a stomach on it, but a massive head. It's quite wide as well across the top. What a lovely fish. This will be a very large fish, sort of back end of February, March time. Beautiful. I'm gonna get her back. There she goes. Off to hopefully be caught another day. What a lovely fish. I've not been fishing very long, but I've got a take. Float's just dipped under. I'm going to give it a second. with it still being quite cold water. I don't want to rush into it. I don't want to hit it really quickly. Just make sure the clutch is tight. Yeah, right. He's on. Not a big fish. Right, I'll get him unhooked quickly and then I'll show him to the camera. So after only fishing for about 20 minutes in the third session this is, the right rod that I chucked out slipped under. Very lively fish. Struggling to actually get him held up for the camera. There we go. Only about £6-7. Nothing huge, but a lovely start. Let's hope it can be followed by more fish. Lovely fish. She's gonna get her back now. I've had her resting for a little bit. There she goes. Lovely. Right. Right. Gonna give it a go. There we go. I've got one. Twigs come off, thankfully. Doesn't feel a big fish, but it's a fish to say the least. And he's in. Lovely. I was just thinking about packing up, and thankfully the right rod went off again with another lovely fish. Again, not big, maybe £7, something like that, but nonetheless a lovely fish. Beautiful colours on it. Can't ask for much more. Well, this is now the end of my three session video. This was 3 separate sessions. It was a pleasure to film. I enjoyed every second of it. Had some lovely fish, and yeah, it was just a joy to film, really. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll see you all in the next video.